Welcome to the Willis Report, your show, your money, your voice. And tonight, your apology. The president today apologizing to the 5 million of us who have lost our health insurance coverage because of Obamacare, his program. Not to worry, he says, because he will allow these policies to be extended 1 year. He said, it's on me. But what he means is it's on the insurance companies. Insurers, he says, will have the option of extending policies. Obama passing the hot potato of the failure of his signature health care law onto insurance companies. How will they respond, and can they respond in time to meet the January 1st deadline for coverage? And will, as the company's trade group says tonight, premiums rise as a result? Joining me now, Steve Moore, an editorial board member at the Wall Street Journal. Steve, great to have you here. I'll read you a statement from one of the insurance trade group's spokesmen. Robert Zirkelbach from U.S. Health Insurance says changing the rules could destabilize the market and result in higher premiums for consumers. What do you say?
You know, everybody is throwing up their arms, Jerry, and trying to figure what's going on here. The president came forward with a proposal finally that says, look, we'll go back to this system. If you had insurance, we'll allow you to keep it. There's a bill in the House that'll allow that. There's a bill in the Senate. But you know what? When I've talked to insurers myself today, and members of Congress, there is more and more skepticism, Jerry, that any of this will work. The metaphor that's been used all day today is it's like trying to put toothpaste back into a tube. You just can't do it. So how do you, I mean, Jerry, think about this.
Right.
How do you take 5 million people who have lost their insurance and then reform these contracts?
Right.
In many cases, by the way, the insurance companies may not want to, sign these people up again.
Well, and I think you're making a great point. I, too, spent all afternoon online talking on the telephone to insurance brokers, insurance industry analysts. And, Steve, I've got to tell you, they say you can't do this. Think about it. A company with maybe 5,000 employees, a big company like the one I work for, they spend 12 months getting their insurance program ready to go. I talked to people today who said, Jerry, there is no way that these insurance commissioners, for one, can approve new plans because that's what it's going to take, and for people to then apply for those plans and get them approved. Listen to what Laura Peterson at the NAIC had to say. Older and sicker policyholders will be more likely to drop existing policies in favor of new ACA, Obamacare compliant policies whose terms are more favorable to them. Younger and healthier individuals would be more likely to keep their existing policies.
That's right.
As a result, the risk profile in the new policies will be worse than it would have been prior to the president's action, which will result in higher premiums. So what you're doing here, I think, is turning Obamacare into the old sick people group of people. And then what? I mean, it makes no sense as an insurance market.
Well, no, there's no question. Everything you said is absolutely true. And when you talk about the people who've lost their health insurance, we don't know a lot demographically about these people. But the people, again, I've talked to in the insurance market, they're saying the people are actually getting dropped from plans tend to be the sicker people and the older people who have higher bills. The insurance companies say, we don't want to insure you anymore. If all of those people go into the exchanges, if they can actually get into the exchange, then you do have a huge problem in terms of the cost of the program. The other question for the insurance companies is whether they can just physically do this. Can they re-sign all of these? Remember, Jerry, January 1st is when people go naked. They don't have health insurance by then. I'll bet you a dime to a dollar you're not going to be able to fix this thing by January 1st.
Well, I'm not going to take the other side of that bet because I think you're absolutely right. So what we did at the Willis Report, we tried to come up with our own timeline. To your point, is it doable? Here's what has to happen in short order before the end of the year. Consumers have to apply to get their insurance reinstated. The White House has to send notification letters to state insurance commissioners. Those commissioners have to sign off on changes. The insurance companies have to notify a consumer whose plan might get canceled to go along with the fix. Then the insurance companies have to reprogram computers for new policies. And then finally, the consumers pick a new plan, and the insurance companies have to make good on it. We have to do all of that in about six weeks.
Yeah, good luck with that. Yeah, and by the way, let me raise another issue with you, Jerry. What happens if the insurance company does not want to reinstate that policy? So, some of these bills say the insurance company must do it. Some of them say it doesn't. We don't exactly know what the president's proposal is. But can you force a company to take someone in their insurance pool? I mean, that could be a big issue of constitutional rights of contract. Can you force an insurance company to sign up for somebody? And so there's all sorts of headache problems here. You know, the best comment I heard today was by a Republican congressman who said, Steve, the only way you can fix this thing is with a time machine and really turn back the clock 4 months so you can start over. But unfortunately, I don't think if Washington can't run a website, I don't think they can build a time machine.
I do want you to comment on the president today and the tone and the tenor. It's on me, he said more than once, maybe 3 or 4 times. Here's the president talking about his responsibility.
There is no doubt that the way I put that forward unequivocally ended up not being accurate. It was not because of my intention not to deliver on that commitment and that promise.
I mean, how convoluted is that structure? It ended up not being accurate. Not, I was wrong. Right. I didn't tell you the truth. It ended up not being accurate. What does that mean, Steve?
Well, a little bit better than the last apology, which is, sorry if this didn't turn out so well for you. But I think, you know, the president still hasn't come entirely clean. The other analogy he made today was he was talking about, you know, seatbelt laws, and we required people to have seatbelts, and that's what this plan is doing, is requiring people to get various kinds of insurance. Here's the problem with that analogy. The president said that this was going to cost less money for people and save money for the budget. Now we're finding just the opposite. It's not saving money for individuals, and the only way out of this in the short term is to blow a bigger hole in the budget and to subsidize all these people to get insurance. So, again, I don't see any easy out here. I don't think we're any closer today to a solution than we were yesterday, despite all these plans moving forward. I don't even think the Republican plan is going to work.
Wow. Okay. Well, the industry is in full rebellion. Regulators are in full rebellion. The Washington Insurance Commissioner today said, we can't pull that off. Not happening. California says it'll try. So if you can't bring California on board, I don't know, as a Democratic president, what you can do. Steve, thanks for coming on the show tonight. Great conversation. Really appreciate your time. You've got to come back and help us get this fixed, okay?
Jerry, we need that time machine. We need to roll the clock back and fix this thing. Great to be with you.
Good thought. Thank you.
See.
Now we want to know what you think. Here's our question tonight. President Obama says he didn't mislead the American people. Do you believe him? Log on to jerrywillis.com. Vote on the right-hand side of the screen. I'll share the results at the end of tonight's show.